What is good, America? We're finally back here with another episode from What's the Word Entertainment. Of course, I'm always joined by Obed. Good to see you again, finally back in action. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Doing well, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, I can always complain, but why bother? There's no point, right?
Right.
Definitely glad to have you back. Got to get this thing going. Got a lot to talk about today. We're definitely gonna focus on some basketball news and some action. Of course, we'll talk about the finals. Obviously, we all know the Raptors won their first championship, but we will get to that in a second. But the biggest news, congratulations to the Raptors, but the biggest news came recently this past weekend from the association. Of course, we have to get into this. I wanted to get into it right away. Let's just go. Yep. The Pelicans trading Anthony Davis to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, it was a rumor that he wanted to go there, or wasn't a rumor. He said he wanted to go there during the season. The news broke that he demanded a trade. Yeah. It was speculation. Where is he going to go to Lakers? Is he going to go to Boston? Is he going to go, wherever? Yeah. No, it was basically he came out and said, hey, look, I'm not going to sign a long-term deal to go to Boston. So pretty much it was LA or bust, Yeah. So he finally pulled the trigger, made it happen. Anthony Davis will be going to the Lakers. The Lakers, in return, send Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks to the Pelicans. Dude, that's a hell of a lot for one. Now, granted, it's Anthony Davis.
Put it in the bag. Put all of your future into the bag and just hand it right over to them.
Dude, I know, right? And I was surprised that they were able to hang on to Kyle Kuzma, to be honest with you.
Let
me ask you this. What are your thoughts on the trade? First of all, is it worth giving up, like you said, putting everything in there? I mean, and was it worth it for the Pelicans? I mean, for the Lakers.
I don't think it was worth it for the Lakers to give up everything. And you make a good, strong point there. The negotiating was probably terrible. I feel like this is why you hear about Magic Johnson being undercut by I can't remember the GM or president's name.
Rob Pelinka.
Yes, Pelinka. And so they make this trade. Like you said, hey, how did they keep Kyle Kuzma? Because somebody on the Lakers side didn't say, hey, we'll give you 2 firsts and Kyle Kuzma and the rest of those guys, versus them saying we want 3 firsts, and somebody said okay. That is a make it happen. Bring me Anthony Davis. Whatever the offer they send you, take it. Let's get this deal done. Right? Like I don't need to worry about what the future holds. I can make a team with whoever I got. It sounds like something that may and this is the thing. I'm not indicting LeBron, but this seems like LeBron is at the helm right now. He might be on the sticks.
I definitely think he had something to do with it. Had played a role in this, and somewhat. He said, listen, I need help. I can't do this by myself, and you need another star. Now, granted, they had the money. Now the deal is not official. It can't be official until July. I mean, free agency starts at the end of June 30th, so the deal can't go through July. I think it's July 6th might be the earliest, which will give the Lakers about $23.7 million in cap space. Now, if the deal is pushed out to July 30th, I think the cap space goes up to about $32 million. Yeah. What's that?
There, you were breaking up. You said this deal goes till July, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was saying is if the deal can't go through until July, because like I said, free agency starts June 30th, and there's a few days of a window where the free agency can negotiate and things like that. So if it's July 6th, they get about $23.7 million in cap space. I think it goes to July 30th, about $32 million in cap space. So it gives them some room. But here's my biggest concern. If you, I guess, it does give them space and they probably want to go sign another star player, whether it be Kemba Walker, whether it maybe be Jimmy Butler. But here's the thing. If you do that, you leave no room, no money to sign anyone else. They're right now, currently, they have about 5 guys total signed under contract on the Lakers right now. You know what I mean? So if you sign, like I said, after signing Davis and you sign, let's just say it's Kemba Walker, for instance, who else are you going to play? You can't go into the season with 6 guys, 7 guys. You need at least 12 guys. You know what I mean? Because injuries will happen. You guys need to rest, come off the bench. Thing is, so my question is it worth it to spend all your money and get an elite player, get a star, and just get a bunch of no-name, low-level, minimum contract guys, or dumb it down a little bit, get a mid-level guy, spend a little more money, and then have money to get, fill out your bench, fill out your pieces. That way your team is actually complete. To me, I think it's the latter. I think you spend a little less, get a mid-level guy, and complete your team as a whole.
Yeah. If it's always been about the big three, I can't say that the Bulls from the 90s had a big three. I think they had two big guys, two big greats, and then just kept adding role players and guys who were fantastic at their position, right?
Well,
Like good.
don't forget the latter years. They did get Dennis Rodman. That was their big three: Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman.
True, true. They still had Tony Kukoc out there. They had Steve Kerr hitting big shots for them all the
Right.
time.
Yes, they did. But yeah, Rodman I think came on the cheaper side. Yeah, and they did
Yeah.
have other role players. Yes. Okay.
And you highlight the point there, like, okay, so who's willing to take a pay cut to come and play with LeBron and AD and whoever that unnamed big three person is? You know what I mean? Like, who's willing to accept a role that might be not a highlight of the big three, but we're talking about a player in LeBron who had a big three with Bosh and Wade, and also had the greatest three-point shooter in the game, Ray Allen, as the swing guy. Like,
and remember, Wade, really quick, Wade and Bosh they all took pay cuts. Even LeBron, they all took pay cuts to play together because they wanted to win.
Exactly. So if they think, hey, we can move some things around, we can get some guys on the cheap who probably could make more money somewhere else, but would be willing to come and play for the amount that we can actually pay them to do this, maybe they could do something. But like you said, they have maybe 6 guys on the roster total right now, and you want to have twice that, but you can only really sign one guy that you think is really good and then buy 5 other dudes off the street, off a couch.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I just don't see it happening.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, but don't forget, don't sleep on Kyle Kuzma. He was balling last year, dude. And, so I think with LeBron, with AD, with Kyle Kuzma, you bring in some middle level guys like a JJ Redick, because they need shooting, they need outside shooting. You bring in somebody like a JJ Redick or like a Danny Green type of player. I think that kind of gets your starting lineup really set, and then you kind of just fill out your bench. To be honest with you, because you need depth, especially in the West. You need depth.
People are gonna be running down courts all year long. Like, I give it to. I don't want to say that the Warriors broke down, and we'll talk about that later, but you got to go up against James Harden and that Houston team trying to put up a $130 every night. You know what I mean? You got the Clips will come here and try to put up 120. Like, it's a lot of miles you're putting on the legs out there. So they're going to need depth, because it's not going to be LeBron playing those max minutes. He didn't bring Anthony Davis for him to be out here playing max minutes.
Right, no, not at all. Yeah, and I think LeBron will, kind of his minutes will go down a little bit, because he'll be going into his 17th year in the league, so that those miles take a toll on your body. So I think he'll be playing less because he can rely on AD. He doesn't have to play as much because you have AD, you got Kuzma, and possibly another guy in there, so he won't have to do as much. But I think the Pelicans made out like bandits, getting especially Ingram, the 3 picks, of course, they already had the first pick in this year's draft, which is tomorrow night. Of course, we all know they'll be getting Zion Williamson with the first overall pick. Now they've got the 4th pick as well. Probably going to pick up, I think rumor has it they're going to pick up Jared Culver out of Texas Tech. I still think they need to look at maybe perhaps Darius Garland out of Vanderbilt, but I can understand why they may not do that, because they're going to look at Ball as their leading point guard. But I mean, I think the Pelicans, I think this is the kind of the right move for them. They're going young. They want to kind of quote unquote rebuild. I think it certainly helps them and contend in the West now even more. I think some people are going to look at them as kind of the favorites to win the West just because of the fact that you got AD and LeBron. But I just, like I said, it's going to be hard for me to really say it. Like I said, other people may look at it, but without a bench, without depth, I don't think they really do go as far as people expect them to go as far. That's my opinion.
I would agree with that. I mean, you look at what they would field as that point in the season where you're going to have to rest your starters. You're going to have to rest LeBron, resting him more than most people have done in the past. Mm-hmm. And this is what's going to have to carry the team. I think the difference between the Lakers that could have made the 8th spot this year and the ones that did not mm-hmm. is that the whatever was the team cannot holster the load in the West on their own, right? So you got to think like, what are you going to field out here? That's why, like, I had just the sinking feeling of you gave away 3 first-round picks. And you force yourself to have to make sure that you hit on whoever these selections are coming into this next draft, because if they bust, you're going to have problems, right? Mm-hmm. Guys are only going to not be getting paid to not win for so long before you're going to start having problems, right? LeBron is about to have movies coming out. You know what I mean? He's doing stuff all over the place. His attention swayed very easily this year when they were out of the running. And I don't know how many people are going to have the patience for that kind of diva mentality when the idea was you came here to win.
Right, and it's definitely a win now mentality because let's face it, LeBron doesn't have 10 years left on him. He's got maybe I would say probably 4 more years, maybe 5 at most on his body. So I mean, I still think going back to even weeks before the trade, even after AD, I still think they should at least look at Kemba. Even though I think, like I said, my final opinion is that, like I said, get a mid-level guy or two, go out, get more depth. But if you're gonna get a star, I say look at Kemba and maybe even look at Kyrie, because it is expected that Kyrie will be leaving Boston. Now, a couple weeks ago, I think he left his agent. He's going to be signing with Rock Nation. So it's pretty obvious. It's pretty looking like he's going to be leaving Boston. The latest rumors that he's straight up ghosting Boston. He's not even returning phone calls, not even returning texts, nothing from them. That's the kind of dude Kyrie is, to be honest with you. I've heard a lot of things around from different reports and things like that. That's just how Kyrie is. He kind of goes MIA for a while, and so I think he has until June 29th to opt into his player option, which is about $21.3 million. So, but Boston, I think, is just on the decline right now. I'm not sure. Is Kyrie going to go to New York? Will it be the Knicks or will it be the Nets? I don't know. Is he possibly interested in the Lakers rejoining LeBron? I think that's going to be tough for him to swallow his pride, going from winning a championship, LeBron, leaving LeBron, say, hey, listen, I don't want to be second fiddle. I don't want to be the second player, the best player on the team. I want to be the first player. Okay, fine. You go to Boston. You go there. You're the best player on the team. You get hurt. They go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You come back. They do squat. And you know what I mean. So now, is he going to want to go to the Lakers, where he's the third best player behind LeBron and AD? I don't know. I'm not sure what your takes on the Kyrie situation. Could he go to the Lakers? I think they're interested, but I don't know.
I mean, like you said, it's all on him, right? This reeks of Neymar returning to Barcelona to be the third biggest star there, but arguably should be able to dictate that he is the second biggest star on the team. It's a tough pill to swallow. You left on the heels of that. I couldn't imagine that you're going to return to the same thing. He had his opportunity in the Sun, and it didn't work, right? Did it not work because of the place he was in? Like, this was a place you talked about, your dad played there, woo. But, when it push comes to shove, it didn't seem like he ever gelled with them. Like, I don't know what there are personality questions, concerns with him when he's on the team.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. Even Terry Rozier came out a few weeks ago saying that it was just a bad environment when Kyrie was there. He didn't talk to guys sometimes. Even when he was at the Cavaliers, I heard similar reports that he would just be in a great mood one day and then just in a terrible mood the other day. He just got caught up in his feelings a lot. I don't know what it is about him.
Maybe that speaks to it a little bit, right? That might be a part of the Kyrie reality when he's on your team. Do you want to bring that in? Do you want to deal with that whenever that starts up?
Yeah. And I know we'll get into this in a little bit, but Kevin Durant. Now, I think his injury. Do you think that plays a part in Kyrie's choice? Because it was rumored that for the longest time that KD was going to go to New York and Kyrie was possibly going to go with him. So now that KD is hurt, we're not sure whether he's going to go or whether he's going to stay. Like I said, we'll get into that later. But do you think that injury impact, does that change Kyrie's thought process of where he may end up?
I think so. Like you said, you touched on him doing the getting a Rock Nation agent, potentially sticking him in the epicenter of New York. He can decide what he wants to do from there. KD, for as many people would love for him to come home and play for the Wizards, that's never going to happen. I think he's definitely this could change his trajectory for like, hey, what is he going to do in a year from now, right? Because he's probably out for a year with this injury, I would assume.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just being his ability to walk normally again is probably paramount to his ability to play basketball again. But when I expect him to come back, and when he does come back, it definitely affected where Kyrie wanted to go. There were enough players moving that I thought there could have been a team that featured Durant and Klay Thompson. honestly, though, those two could have gone anywhere and been that show for somebody's offense very easily. While maybe you don't get as much on the defensive end from Durant because he's just not that big body of a guy, and he looks so skinny. So skinny in the finals when he's playing. My God, I didn't think a man could get any skinnier. I just
you better go eat a sandwich.
Exactly right.
Or two
mayonnaise on that one. I think that you could have a guy like Clay out there as well, and just a good team player, plays both ways, hits a bunch of buckets. I think those two could have got somewhere and been their own show.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been very nice too, but I feel like just with Kyrie, I just not sure. I wouldn't be surprised, if he, decides to go back and play with LeBron in LA, but I think he may end up actually being in New York because he wants to be the man, as quote unquote, So I wouldn't be surprised, but with Boston, I'm not sure just what happened, man. You've got one of the best young coaches in the game, Brad Stevens there, one of the rising star in Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown is playing well, but now there's a rumor that Al Horford, their forward, is going to be opting out of his player option. He had an option of $30.1 million, and he probably is leaving Boston because the two sides, they couldn't really agree upon a deal. Yeah. So he's going to opt out. He's going to probably end up somewhere else. So I think Boston, I don't know why, but people are just abandoning ship almost, which is kind of. I would agree. Yeah, I'm just not sure if is it the culture or what happened. Is Danny Ainge just generally managing, no pun intended or pun intended there, his way out of his job? I'm not sure.
I think he could be. Good young coach coming up in the ranks. Roster a big market city that loves the sport, supports you and everything you do. The ship just doesn't seem to be sailing the way they want it to. And Kyrie not being there maybe is for the positive, but them not being able to come to a decision on or an agreement with Al Horford is really pretty telling for me, because I felt like he was given a very secondary role after they brought in what is his name? Gordon Hayward. After they brought in Gordon Hayward, wanted to have that kind of a big man, or at least somebody coming that could give them an offensive skill set side. And he seemed to be at some points, I feel like, just dejected, like wasn't really in the game, because it's like, oh, you just need me out here for rebounds, when really I'm trying to get my buckets.
Right. And about all the reports are saying that they all love the organization, love him. He's a great teammate. He was, a phenomenal guy in the locker room and everything, but they just couldn't agree on a deal. So I'm not really sure where he may end up, but it's just really telling about Boston that everyone's just, saying, yo, deuces, I'm out, so I'm not sure. But the other big name, I think I mentioned it before, Kemba Walker. It was I think it was in a report. So I saw a report the other last week or so that he is willing to take less money to stay with the Hornets. Now, to me, I don't know if you think do you think it's foolish for him to just take less to want to stay in Charlotte? Because Charlotte, let's face it, they haven't done anything. They're not a really contender or anything. It's really just him there. Is he better off going someplace else? I mean, I get it. He's eligible to sign the Supermax deal if he stays there, but he said he's willing to take less money to bring in other stars. Are you really going to get in more, bring in other stars to play with the Charlotte Hornets? I don't know. There's no reports about anyone really wanting to go to Charlotte. Yeah. It's not like it's a small town city or anything like that, but.
No. But there's not a draw there to think that, okay, all right, I get to play with Kemba Walker, and who else? And what's the front office like? And I mean, I the East is wide open. The East is wide open for whoever wants to put together a roster and go get that crown, because a guy who's on an offense where all they do is say, box and one, take the ball, go ahead, right? Just ISO, go right down the lane. If that can take you all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, if that can win 50 games before anybody else in the league, I think people are starting to see that the field is open. Make your offer at least, right? I don't think anybody wants to come to Charlotte. I don't know your thoughts on it, but I don't think anybody wants to.
I don't think so either. I think I get it. He's, that's the team. He's been there forever. He wants to help that squad, help that franchise win. But dude, you have to also help yourself. And if you're really truly about winning and you want to win a championship before your time is up, he's got to get out of there. he's got to look at these other, big squad. Is it whether it's LA, whether it's New York or something like that, or I mean, because if let's say he and another, let's say Kevin Durant go to New York, that could be a crazy duo there. I'm just not sure. There is a report that the Lakers they're interested in him, of course, as they should be interested in him, but I just don't know where he would really end up, so to speak, if to really start really building a new, I guess, from the ground up franchise with a winning team with because he can't be by himself. He's not that type. He's not a LeBron. He's not a KD who can really lead a team by themselves to far deep into the playoffs. Yeah. I just think he needs to go. I think he needs to get out of Charlotte and just save himself and leave, because that dude. I'm telling you, he's an all-star. He's a hell of a point guard. I just really think he deserves to be on a winning team and absorb that winning culture. So I'm not sure where he's going to end up, but I think he should get out of Charlotte. That's just my opinion.
I think he's a better Kyle Lowry. I think that
really?
You get far more from him at the position playing point for you than you do from Kyle Lowry.
Really?
And I just think that he probably needs to leave. It feels like, use an NFL example, feels like AJ Green. I feel like you are a sensational player, but you are everything you do is not going to pull this truck out of the mud, right? Like, you might as well take your pick, go there and find that he could be somebody's big three.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? He absolutely could, dude. And he, like Kyrie, they're both ball dominant point guards, Yeah. So I think he deserves. I think he really deserves to be on a winning team. He's got to go somewhere, but I'm just not sure where he's going to go. Some other news in the league: Harrison Barnes is declining his player option in Sacramento, his $25.1 million. Chris Middleton is going to be opting out of his player option for $13 million. Now Middleton, on a latter note, he's eligible for the Supermax, or $5 year, $190 million if he stays in Milwaukee. Yeah. If he leaves, he can get 4 years, 141. So obviously he's going to opt out. He's just going to, even if he stays in Milwaukee, he'll get more money if he opts out and signs the Supermax. So obviously he'll probably end up staying. But Harrison, I just feel like you see like these guys, even like these little mid-level guys, Middleton, Barnes, you're just going to see everyone just basically, the fact that KD and all these guys are hurt now, and things are just not sure up in the air with the league right now. You're going to see more guys opting out of their clauses and just signing bigger deals, because it's just it's almost like a crapshoot, dude. It's like, just grabbing the money. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, you ever seen one of those game shows where you're sitting in the box and there's money just flying everywhere? You got to grab as much as possible. That's what these guys are like. Oh my God, get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just catching your shirt. Like, I mean, honestly,
your shirt, putting it in your drawers, whatever.
Sports. Hulu has live sports.
Exactly. Making it rain. You know what I mean? So they just want to get as much money as possible right now. So you're going to see a lot of these guys kind of doing similar things, So because with the I think the CBA goes up or is adjusted almost every year, the collective bargaining agreement. So it's like, why not opt out if you can get a better deal?
Absolutely. Get your money. You got to make up for all those years that you were a baller at your middle school, high school, AAU travel team, college level now. So get paid.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you saw today that according to some sources around the league, that the Grizzlies are going to be trading point guard Mike Conley to the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are going to be getting Kyle Korver, Jay Crowder, Grayson Allen, a.k.a. the Tripper out of Duke, and their first round pick. Dude, all he knows is for tripping people. Let's be honest.
True.
But good for Conley, going to a playoff team. Memphis, they're kind of been rebuilding. They got rid of Marc Gasol. During the trade, before the trade deadline, before he went to Toronto. Obviously, we know the story there. But
worked out for both sides. I think it worked out for both sides.
Yeah, but Conley, he's under contract for another 2 years. The next 2 years, he's going to be making $32.5 million and $34.5 million, respectively, in the next 2 seasons. That's a lot of money. He's getting paid like an elite level all-star perennial point guard, but his play hasn't been not that elite at the last.
Is the market there now? Is the market there dictating that he should be able to get that money based on what's been negotiated, but the quality's not there? Like, is he going to be able to command this? But then after those 2 years, who's really going to pony up and pay him?
Right. But I think he will pair well with Donovan Mitchell, a young star out of Utah, which I like. But it makes me think about now, okay, what does this do for Ricky Rubio Is he going to stick around? They're going to keep him? Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to demand a trade? I like Ricky Rubio. He doesn't score as much as Conley does. He's a great facilitator. But I do like Conley and putting Conley and Donovan Mitchell together for Utah. They're still very young. They need a lot more pieces there. Let's be honest. But I don't know your thoughts on the trade requiring Conley, but I kind of like it for Utah.
I do feel that it was a little lopsided. I mean, even the haul that they got for this one guy. I mean, does he complete the picture enough for them to have brought him in to think that this is the next way we're going to go? Especially that first round pick for the dudes that he gave him. Really, it's Kyle Korver. For me, I feel like there's something there that you can build on in case the two guys don't really work out. But
they've got Rudy Gobert, for defensive prowess there at center. I like, they're, like I said, they're a young team. I don't think they're really going to do too. They're not going to the Western Conference Finals or anything.
No.
But I do like the pickup for them. Like I said, I'm just not sure what's going to happen with Ricky Rubio. That's really it. But speaking of point guards and some other issues, Houston, what is going on? I think Houston has a serious problem here. There has been many reports that there is an ongoing spat or beef, whatever you want to call it, between CP3 and James Harden. There's also a rumor, according to Stephen A. Smith from on ESPN, that said that apparently CP3 wants out of Houston. And apparently everyone pretty much is eligible to be traded or likely to be is available for a trade. It's rare that James Harden. There's another report a few weeks ago. It's highly unlikely that James Harden will ever get traded, but pretty much there's a rumor that everyone, including CP3, is up for trade. Rumor. For trade options here
on the trade block. Yeah,
on the table. Yeah, excuse me. So I'm not sure what's really happening in Houston. I don't know, but Houston, they need to do something. They need to add another piece to win now. They had their shot. They blew it. In that semifinals against the Warriors. First of all, KD goes down in Game 5. So that's in Game 6. You're at home. You're up at halftime. Steph Curry has 0 points in the first half, and you let him go off in the second, and you lose the game. You had every opportunity to win that series, force a Game 7, and go and win that series, and finally get past the Warriors. And you didn't with the Warriors without KD, and you couldn't get it done. Something needs to be done. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you think about Houston. You just need someone needs to blow up that rocket ship. Pun intended. I'm just not sure what's happening in Houston.
I think you touched on it well, that it might need to get blown up. Honestly, thinking about it, and maybe this is me playing devil's advocate. I think management went and talked to somebody and said, "What do you think we need to do here?" Because obviously you're a scoring menace. You are the best thing this team has. Your position with the team is solidified. You're gold standard. What do we do from there? We feel like we can build around you. And what does that person say? Get rid of him. We could start over. I just don't think that the last 2 seasons, CP3 has been injured. He hasn't been there for the team when we needed him. We've ended up, the only thing you've had is me. So let me get somebody who's actually going to be healthy and going to be out there. And the rest of these Bama's ain't doing nothing else easier. Get rid of them. Let's start over. I'll be out here. I'll be cooking. They're going to let me take 4 steps for my step back. Yeah. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's to me. So they might as well blow it up, because I think that's what's happened. At least the way that things are going. And CP3, being the kind of dude he is, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to demand a trade in such fashion.
I don't think so. I mean, I just with James Harden, he had a heck of a year. I think he had 30-something games with 30 points in each game for I think it was 34 games with 30 points, excuse me. Something like that in a row. Ages was going off, and most of which CP3 was out for. I think about 25 of those games he was out for. So it shows he doesn't really need CP3 to go off like that. He can go off on his own. Yep. But obviously they're believing James Harden. James Harden is their guy. He's the reigning MVP. He's their man. He's their franchise player. They're gonna end up building around him. I know Clint Capella. I still like him there. They've got a lot of pieces. I just don't know what's really happening. They just need, honestly, I don't know what the hell they need, to be honest with you, though. I mean, I feel like I said, they had their shot. Being that the West is so deep, and there's so many, like especially with Golden State and everything. I don't know what else Houston can do. Who else can you really bring in to help them get over the hump at this point? I'm just not sure. You don't need a point guard. You have CP3. Let's say they keep him. You don't need a shooting guard. You have James Harden.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, you've got Capella. I just don't know where they kind of go from here as far as bringing in other options. You know what I mean? To kind of help out. You got Kenneth Faried coming off the bench who played well. Austin Rivers, Iman Shumpert, PJ Tucker, most importantly, of course.
I think they can make a change at Austin Rivers. I don't think he's NBA material.
Yeah, I think I mean, say he played well in the moments that he played. He did okay. Obviously, but I think obviously, Eric Gordon was the biggest thing for them coming off the bench, even starting a few games. But I just not sure where Houston goes from here. What do they do to say this is it? We're good. We can contend for the championship right now. We can make the finals right now. I don't know. It's just a matter of just.
Horford? Did you say Horford?
No. Oh, that's a very good point.
Now, because we're talking about a team where, okay, if he says get rid of these guys, we're going to need somebody to come in and play. We need somebody to ball. And Horford, I feel like, is leaving Boston because you're not going to have me out here to not be putting up buckets. I want to put up buckets. Mm-hmm. So wherever Horford goes, I feel like it's going to be a place where he's going to be able to get work and be a key integral part of it.
Now, can the Rockets afford Al Horford? That's the thing. So let's say you got CP3 at the 1. So you push Gordon into the 2, Harden at the 3, Horford at the 4, and Capella at the 5. And then you got Tucker coming off the bench. That's not a bad lineup, yo. That's not a bad lineup at all. But can the Rockets afford Al Horford? I don't know. Yeah. Do they have the cap space for that? I'm not sure. There hasn't been much mentioning of him, of the Rockets having enough room to bring in a premier player like that. But that's the kind of player who can really help them out drastically, especially down low in the post. You can get you at least 10, 11 rebounds a game.
Right.
So
and that you got a guy who's going to be shooting at the gym. He'll take as many extra balls as you can offer. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Harden, of course, shooting the lights out every night, of course. So that's not a bad move. I like it, Obed. Very, very good point there. I like that. But like I said, I'm just not sure if they have the room for them. I don't know where the Rockets go from here. Yeah. Your final thoughts on the Rockets? I'm not sure what else.
Only way to make that work, they would probably have to move Chris Paul. Like, let Chris Paul go, dump him, bring in somebody younger to run the point for you, and just have this person distributing the ball.
Yeah. Well, moving on, want to get into a quick finals recap. Of course, as I said before, we know the Raptors defeated the Warriors in 6 games. They won their very first NBA championship. Their final in the game 6, 114-110 over the Warriors. Kawhi Leonard, of course, won the Finals MVP, deservingly so. He's the 3rd player in history to win the award with 2 different teams, but the first player to win it in both conferences, East and West. Of course, he won it when he was with San Antonio when they defeated the Miami Heat in LeBron's final year there. Now, just quickly, talking of Game 6, just really quick. Just as far as some numbers go. I was surprised as far as I want to start with the Raptors. I was surprised for a couple of things there. Danny Green, 0 points. They didn't even take a shot in Game 6. Yeah. But Fred VanVleet played so well once again. He had a great playoff run coming off the bench. Yeah. Kyle Lowry had 26, 7, and 10 assists. Great game. Siakam had 26 and 10. Leonard only had 22, but enough there. They don't, if I notice, if the Raptors don't go deep into their bench, like I said, they got VanVleet, Ibaka, and maybe even sometimes Powell plays a little bit, but they don't go much into the bench. But the Warriors, what I was really shocked at, Steph Curry, he only had 21, 3, and 7. I thought he was going to go for at least 40 points in that game. Yeah. Now, Klay Thompson was on that way until he got hurt, and we'll talk about that in a second. He was there. He had 30 before he got out. But I thought Steph Curry was just going to shoot the lights out. Being down 3-2, this is the last game ever at that arena in Oracle. I thought he was going to shoot the lights out. I think he was going to go for at least 40. So that was my kind of biggest surprise from Game 6. I don't know. You're just throwing thoughts just on the quickly on just like how the game was, just the way it was played itself.
I mean, honestly, there were just cold streaks, and I think after KD got hurt, it really changed the emotional dynamic. Right? KD got hurt. Okay, fine, we're playing, we're cooking. And then Clay got hurt. And when Clay got hurt and he came back and hit those free throws, I thought maybe there was some life. When they said he was done for the night, that was it. I think Curry, for as strong as he is, as confident as he is, was alone on an island out there. And I just don't think there was enough fun to be had for him to like pull this game out. Like, he missed that shot at the end they created for him where he normally hits that.
That was he had a good look.
Arguably, it's not 1990s basketball where you go attack the hoop, attack the basket, get your foul, at least go to the line and tie the game. There were what killed the Warriors was the cold streaks. The game of NBA today is everybody's shooting from beyond the arc, right? Everybody's shooting outside. So there were points where they were just giving the ball and the time right back to the other team.
Yeah.
And I just like, come on, attack the basket. That's why when Boogie Cousins came in, it changed the dynamic, right? He was able to attack the basket, picking up points quickly, picking up fouls on the other team quickly.
Yeah.
Because they don't play this strong ball anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Curry, he shot 6 of 17, including 3 of 11 from 3. It just hurt them, man. But yeah, as you mentioned, KD, when he got hurt in Game 5, that definitely changed the dynamic of the series. It was official that he ruptured his Achilles. He ended up having surgery a day or two later. He's gone for at least 9 months, probably all of next year. But then, like you said, in Clay, I think it was the third quarter, got hurt, went up for that dunk, missed it, came down on his knee. It came out, tore his ACL. He was out for the rest of the game. When you're right. When he announced that, I was like, oh, it's done. They're out. But even still, they still had a chance to win with Curry at the right about at the buzzer, had a chance to tie the game. Probably send it to overtime. But that's a shot he normally makes. So I was definitely surprised. That was one of my another biggest surprise there. But going into the injuries, like we said, KD, he has an option. He can opt into his 1-year player option, which is about $31.5 million. I think he does. Now that he got hurt, I don't think KD is going anywhere. I'm going to say it now. I don't think KD leaves because of the injury. I think he's going to stay in with Golden State, opt in his year, and then test free agency next season.
Yeah.
The same thing with Clay, because I believe Clay was a free agent as well. I think he'll stay as well because of the injury. I don't think too many players will take that chance. Even though it's Kevin Durant and it's Klay Thompson, those serious injuries, especially KD with the Achilles.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, he's got to be able to walk properly first. You know what I mean? I think they're both out for the entire season next year. There's a chance Clay could probably maybe come back sooner, but I think they're just better off just staying out. Opt into your option, collect your check, sit on the bench. You know what I mean? It's free money. Why not? You know what I mean?
It's free money, and both the Warriors are going to do right by these guys. So that while they opt into their contract, they will get the best that the Warriors and Eastern Medicine will have to offer to make sure that these guys get back. And just seeing the Warriors president just shaking up like that, delivering news about Kevin Durant, I think they understand that these guys need to be. They've taken us to the promised land. They did right by us. We'll do right by them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and kind of what we were getting to before about, even with Kyrie, this injury, does it affect them? Yeah, I think it affects this team because let's face it, the Warriors aren't going to do anything next year with just Steph Curry and Draymond and maybe Boogie still sticking around. It affects everyone. Obed, I don't know if you agree.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Sorry. I was just saying, I think that these injuries affect not only the Warriors, but the rest of the league. So it's going to determine, where these other free agents end up, as we said with Kyrie earlier. Warriors are done. I mean, they're not winning next year, let's face it, because without Clay and without KD, they're not going to get past probably even the Lakers, maybe even Houston. Is the Warriors dynasty, is this over? What is it, 4 or 5 straight years in the finals? Is their run done?
Um, I don't want to say their run is done. We saw Jordan go to at least 6. And I think while these guys aren't the super best player we've ever seen, and tons of other magnificent players together, kind of literally, I feel like the Bulls was a super all-star team that nobody was really talking about. Like now we look back and just feel like they actually had like a squad and was kicking everybody's ass. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, what you mean? Of course they did, dude. Yeah,
right.
they had
We only lost 8 games, bro.
them.
So when you're on that status, I think you can make a second act. When they think that you are dead, you can come back and show them you're still alive. But it would take, first thing, you got to get Clay back. And that you're not getting Clay back until Clay knows that his body is good, right? That Clay is a professional, but he wants to, what he can do. It's been a rarity that I've seen people do. The ghost of Game 6 Clay was coming for the Raptors,
For
right?
sure.
They won by 4, and it took the injury to 2 of the best players in the league, right? Like I understand how good Kawhi is. I understand how good of a team that the Raptors have presented themselves as, but they would have got cooked up if Clay had went
Clay was
and that would have probably given enough time for Steph to get back into it, and Steph to probably get to 30, 35, and it'd be like they could have dropped 120.
Yeah, Clay was definitely going off, man. I mean, he had 30 points. He was 8 of 12 before he left the game. That's what I'm saying, the third quarter. So imagine if he actually played the entire game, he would have gone for 40 plus easily.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate that he got hurt the way he did, But to me, it feels like the Warriors are kind of done. Like I said, since KD and Clay are going to be out all of next year, probably. I think KD will opt out then, and I think Clay will want to get paid max money at that time too. So he might stay, but but now with, like I said, with AD, with the Lakers, I don't think without KD they'll end up getting past anyone. I mean, past the Lakers or something like that, or another team. The Nuggets are on the rise too. Don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on the Joker.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think these injuries really are going to take a toll on not only them in the league, but I think their run is over. On the other side of the finals, of course, you have Kawhi. When the Raptors, they played a great series. They just played great team ball. And Kawhi was doing Kawhi, proving once again that he's one of the best two-way players in the league, one of the top two or three players in the entire league. Now he can obviously he has a player option for $21.3 million. It's pretty much known that he's not going to opt into that. He's going to test free agency. I think he made it known before that he probably wants to go to LA.
Yeah, okay.
He's
a Los Angeles kid, isn't he?
He did go to San Diego State. I know that. So is he going to stay in Toronto? I don't know. I mean, I guess before I even ask you about Kawhi, was the trade for Kawhi, giving up DeMar DeRozan and everything, was the trade for Kawhi worth it for Toronto? Putting all your eggs, all your chips in the middle, even if it's just for 1 year, was it worth it just to bring in that one championship? To me, it was worth it. You did what you put everything on the line. You wrote it out. He said, you know what? He hopes he stays, whatever it is. Well, we're going to live with it. And you won you won your championship. You won the first ever championship in franchise history. To me, it paid off because whatever happens from now on, you can say you got what you wanted. You got the ultimate prize. So that's why I say it was well worth the trade.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the trade itself, and then we can discuss if Kawhi will stay or not.
So the trade itself, yes, they got to the pinnacle. They can call themselves a champion for all of eternity. That it's you never know what could have happened, right? Who knows? DeMar DeRozan stays and becomes a mega beast in the NBA and wields a very soft Eastern Conference to another appearance. Because if you ask me, should Kawhi stay? Wouldn't be too bad. They played their way into one. I'm sure somebody would come and want to play with them again, knowing that he is who he is. He sat out his year with the Spurs to prove that this is the level that he's able to play at, and it wasn't going to carry his Spurs team that wasn't willing to work with him. And maybe he does start the big three that'll be up there with Higgy, Marc Gasol, and whoever else they can bring in, because they're getting good buckets from these people. And you got Van Fleet coming off the bench. They have Van Fleet doing his best Jason Terry impersonation. Dog, don't even start him in the games. Come off the bench and cook everybody up. It's yes, the trade was worth it. The fallout, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully DeMar DeRozan gets on his way and gets a chance to play for a championship, but the Raptors did what they needed to do. And then I think the second question was the landscape. Was that about the landscape of the league?
Well, no, really just more. I mean, yeah, that's a good pop. What are your thoughts on that? But really, Kawhi, does he stay or does he go? Really,
I think he's leaving. I think he's, like you said, the first player to ever win the championship from both conferences. He was a Finals MVP the first time he won.
First win Finals MVP in both conferences.
Finals MVP in both conferences. When he was Finals MVP twice. What more do you need? And I think he doesn't have a LeBron resume by any stretch of the imagination. But if he keeps playing this way and he starts getting this jewelry up, can we say that maybe his career was stymied a little bit trying to keep things afloat with the Spurs? That's it. It was his first championship in 2014. He spent 5 years trying to put it back together. I think they appeared in one more NBA Finals with him.
Yeah, and the first one, and against the Heat, right. So yeah, that was when LeBron and the Heat won their second title. That first series against the Spurs, and the following year the Spurs beat them. But I mean, Kawhi, it's rumored that if he goes to LA, it might not be the Lakers. It could be the Clippers. The Clippers have the cap space to sign a max player, maybe perhaps possibly two. So it could be. I think the Clippers, if he does opt out, the Clippers will push hard because they want that premier player like the Lakers have in LeBron, the Warriors having KD. The Clippers feel like they're in LA too, just like the Lakers are. So, they can attract the same thing. They share the arena with the Lakers.
I was gonna say, like, come and play for us and actually win something, right? It's
So I think the Clippers will push hard for Kawhi. Does he stay in Toronto? I don't know. My thoughts are leaning towards no, that he does not stay in Toronto. Should he stay in Toronto? It's another question. I think maybe he should, because look what they did.
Marc Gasol signed a nice little contract there. You got that big man with you all the way through.
Yeah, I'm glad. I was happy for Gasol. He finally got out of Memphis, able to get on a good quality team and win a title. I'm glad for Kyle Lowry as well too. He finally got his title. Finally got over the hump. First of all, just making it into the finals and then winning it. So that was good for him. Wasn't
he on that team with the Heat that lost?
Kyle Lowry? No, he was. He's been in Toronto for years. He was never on the Heat. He was. Lowry actually started his career in Memphis, actually, so to speak. Funny that you mentioned that. So, and we talked about Memphis before. So he started in Memphis, then he came over to Toronto. He's been in Toronto forever. He's definitely he was the veteran on that squad and the leader of that team for many years. So when DeMar DeRozan left, it was pretty much just him left over. I think Kawhi. I really don't know, dude. I'm gonna say he leaves. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say he leaves.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I know there's so many questions up in the air with the league now, man. There's so many things happening, so many changes that have happened, and it's still to happen, still to come. It's definitely an exciting time for basketball this summer now that the finals are over. There's so many things that are going to happen. I can't wait to see what's happening next. The draft is tomorrow night. Got my man Zion going number 1. It's looking like John Morant is going to go number 2 to Memphis. They already know they're going to draft him. So that's pretty much why they got rid of Mike Conley, because they know they're going to draft John Morant. R.J. Barrett out of Duke as well. Looks like he's going to be heading to New York. He's already said he wants to play for the Knicks. So they've got the young guy there, but too bad for the Knicks, because I don't think they're going to be getting KD after all because of the injury.
Now, that would have been a team to see if you had R.J. Barrett, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson.
Or in Kyrie, really, because there was really
Kyrie.
That would have been nice too. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. A lot of good stuff here. I think that's all the time we got for today, Obed. Glad to have you back as usual. Definitely going to keep going. Any other thoughts? Any other last-minute things on the league or anything that's happening or anything else?
It was an exciting season. I think the NBA gave us the champion that we deserve for the times that we have right now. Good to see some fresh blood. I, being a huge Patriots fan, want to see the dynasties continue, so I hope to see the Warriors return. Listen, if it worst comes to sub, Draymond Green will kick whoever he needs to in the nuts to make sure that they keep winning games.
Yes. You will have another episode of Kicked in the Nuts coming at it soon. Absolutely. That is our time for this week. Obed, good to see you as always, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Guys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace. Deuces.